AUTOSAR. AUTOSAR Virtual Functional Bus. Components. Example. We will now look at an example of a software component, namely the software component brake controller. You can see the diagram of the component with 6 of its ports at the lower end. In a later course there will be a separate chapter about ports, but if you want to know which ports are displayed here, you can click on the symbol on the desk. On the right side you see a monitor. Click on the files to learn about the description and the implementation of the software component brake controller. In the software component description, all properties of the software component implementation are described. It has to be considered that the AUTOSAR software component development process is iterative and that the AUTOSAR software component description might be changed during the development of the AUTOSAR software component. Here you see how the description for the software component brake controller would look like. First, the version and encoding type are recorded. The second row tells us this document is about an AUTOSAR element. In the third and fourth row you see that the described element is an application software component type. Then you see the name of the component, followed by the ports. Here you see how the implementation of the software component brake controller would look like with 2 example functions. One of them is the brake force calculation. In the first row you see that the application header file is included. It is generated from the software component internal behavior description by the RTE generator, in the so-called runtime environment contract phase, which is the first phase in the runtime environment generation process. With the generated application header file, the software component developer can provide the software component's source code without being concerned as to whether the communication will later be local or using some networks. If the software component description is changed, the application header file has to be regenerated to reflect the changes done in the software component description. If you want to learn more about AUTOSAR and other interesting topics, go to embeddedacademy.com.